Now we will discuss about some methods for point estimation. Few methods are like maximum likelihood estimation, method of moments, least square estimation, method of minimum chi-square, Bayesian estimations, and maximum a posteriori estimations. We discuss only two methods: maximum likelihood estimation and method of moment estimation. The likelihood principle describes a function of parameter theta determined by the observed sample that contain all the information about parameter theta that is available from the sample. Let x1, x2, xn be a random sample from population fx theta, and we denote fx given theta the joint PDF and PMF of that sample. Then the likelihood function of theta we defined as L theta given x, which is same as fx theta. Here in the joint density we denote fx theta as a function of data, and theta is a fixed quantity. But when we are talking about the likelihood function, we treat likelihood function as a pure function of parameter, and theta x is, that means observed values are known to us. If we compare the likelihood function at two parameter points and find that L theta 1 given x is greater than L theta 2 given x. Theta 1 and theta 2 are 2 points from the parametric space. Then the sample we actually observed is more likely to have occurred if theta equal to theta 1 than if theta equal to theta 2, which can be interpreted as saying that theta 1 is a more possible value for the true parameter of theta than theta 2. It implies that a value of parameter theta which maximizes the likelihood function is more suitable than the other values of the parameter in the parametric space. Now we formally define the maximum likelihood estimator. An estimator theta cap is said to be the maximum likelihood estimator of parameter theta if it maximizes the likelihood function L theta x. For example, let x1, x2, xn be a random sample from Bernoulli distribution with probability p. Then the likelihood function is given by L theta x. LPx is product of I equal to 1 to n p की power xi 1 minus p की power 1 minus xi. If we simplify this, we get the p की power summation xi 1 minus p की power n minus summation xi. For given data, we assume that x1 equal to 1, x2 equal to 0, x3 equal to 0, x4 equal to 1, and x5 equal to 0. Now we put these data points in our likelihood function. Then we get as LP given x equal to p square 1 minus p cube. Okay. We plot this function as a function of p. So this is a graph of the likelihood function, and we can easily see from the graph that this function is maximum around p equal to 0.4. Okay, so it means that the likelihood function is maximum at p equal to 0.4. Thus p equal to 0.4 is the maximum likelihood estimate of parameter. Further, we consider the likelihood function LP given x equal to x p की power summation xi 1 minus p की power n minus summation xi. We want to maximize this function with respect to p. There are two methods. One is directly we can differentiate this function and equate equal to 0, and we get the maximum likelihood estimator of p. Another way, we can take the log of the function So that is a log likelihood, and we maximize the log likelihood function. Both approaches will give us same results. After maximizing this function, we get the maximum likelihood estimator of P as a P cap equal to summation xi divided by n. Now we consider few example of maximum likelihood estimators. When we consider the normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma square, and our parameter of interest is mu. In this case, x bar sample mean is the maximum likelihood estimator of the population mean. Similarly, when we consider for estimation of population variance sigma square, so v square, which is equal to 1 by n summation I equal to 1 to n xi minus x bar whole square, which is the maximum likelihood estimator of the sigma square. In the binomial distribution, if p is our unknown parameter, then x bar divided by m is denote the parameter of the binomial distribution. This will be the maximum likelihood estimator. In case of Poisson distribution, for estimating the lambda parameter of the Poisson distribution, the sample mean is the maximum likelihood estimator of lambda. Now we will discuss the method of moments estimators. We define two types of moments. First, the rth population moment is defined as mu r dash, which is same as expected value of x ki power r equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on. And similarly, we define the rth sample moment, which is given by mr dash equal to 1 by m I equal to 1 to n some xi ki power r equal to 1 to and so on. So these are the basically sample moments and population moments. For estimating the unknown parameters theta 1, theta 2, theta k, the method of moments estimator are the solutions of the equation mu r dash equal to mr dash, r equal to 1 to up to k. If we want to estimate these k unknown parameters, then we consider k equations and solve these equations. After solving these equations, we get the values of the unknown parameters, and these values are called the maximum method of moment estimate of the parameters. For example, let x1, x2, xn be a random sample from uniform distribution over 0 theta. Here theta is the only unknown parameter. So here is a one parameter. So for we want to estimate this unknown parameter theta, we consider the first population moment mu1 dash, which is equals to expected value of x equal to theta by 2. m1 dash, the sample moment, is equal to the 1 by n summation I equal to 1 to n xi, which is equal to the sample mean. For estimating this, we equate these two population moments and sample moments, and we get theta cap equal to 2 times of x bar. This 2 times of x bar is the method of moment estimate of the unknown parameter. Again, we consider few examples of the method of moment estimators. In case of normal distribution, we can recall that for estimating mu, x bar is the maximum likelihood estimator and as well as the method of moment estimator. And when we are estimating the sigma square, the v square is the maximum likelihood estimator as well as the method of moment estimator. In the case of the binomial distribution, x bar by m is the maximum likelihood estimator as well as the method of moment estimator. In Poisson case, the maximum likelihood estimator and the method of moment estimator are coincide. But in case of the uniform distribution, we get the maximum likelihood estimator as a xn, largest order statistics, but the method of moment estimator is the 2 times of x bar. So sometimes the maximum likelihood estimators and method of moment estimators are different, but most of the basic distributions, the both provide the same estimators. Now we move to the interval estimation. Confidence interval is a range of values used to estimate the true population parameter. We associate a confidence level 1 minus alpha 100% to a confidence interval. Confidence level is the success rate of the procedure to estimate the confidence interval. The most common choice of the confidence level is 95%. Sometimes we use the 90% also and 99%. Okay. The 95% confidence interval make good balance between the precision and the reliability. That means width of the confidence interval as well as the confidence level. We know that if the random sample coming from the normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma square, then the sampling distribution of sample mean has again normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma square. For large sample size n, the sampling distribution of sample mean has normal distribution n mu sigma square by n if our mean expected x is mu and variance of x is sigma square. This result is true for the non-normal population case. That means whenever we are sampling from the any distributions but sample size is large, then the sample mean approaches to the sample mean has the approximate distribution of the normal one. We use these results to construct the confidence interval. Now we defined standard normal variate as z equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n. It has the normal distribution with mean 0 and variance 1. This is a graph of the standard normal variate. We can see that if we consider the probability of minus 1.96 is less than z less than 1.96, which is equal to 0.95. This shows the area under this curve between the points minus 1.96 to 1.96. Okay, we use these two values for constructing the confidence interval for the unknown parameter mu. Now we consider the probability of minus 1.96 is less than z less than 1.96, which is same as 0.95. Z we can replace by the x bar minus mu divided by sigma divided by root n. Now we simplify this and we are getting this range. The probability of x minus 1.96 into sigma by root n is less than mu less than x bar plus 1.96 times sigma by root n is equal to 0.95. This implies that the random interval x bar minus 1.96 sigma by root n to x bar plus 1.96 sigma by root n contains the true value of the parameter mu with confidence coefficient 0.96. Here we assume that sigma is known to us. In case of sigma is unknown, we can replace this by its estimate as if n is a large sample. If n is small, then the sampling distribution of x bar will be changed. It follows the t distribution in case of unknown sigma square. Then we use the t distribution for constructing the exact confidence interval for the unknown mean mu. Now consider the example. A sample of 200 residents is taken. The sample mean of IQ is 107 and the population standard deviation is 15. Then for constructing a confidence interval with confidence coefficient 0.95, we use the formula of x bar minus 1.96 into sigma by root n to x bar plus 1.96 into sigma by root n. We put all the given values in this interval, and we get is the 104.06 to 109.94. This is a 95% confidence range for the IQ level of the residents which we have considered. It means that we provided the two estimates, two values which contains the true value of the IQ level with confidence coefficient 0.95. But if we consider only the sample mean 107 as an estimator of the population average of the IQ level, so this 107 is a point estimate and this range is an interval estimate.